Jesse and Gerald Burlingame arrive at an isolated lake house in Fairhope, Alabama, for a romantic getaway. While Gerald takes Viagra, Jesse feeds raw beef to a stray dog outside. Inside, she changes into a new slip and Gerald restrains her with a set of handcuffs locked to the bedposts. He begins to enact a stranger rape fantasy. She half-heartedly plays along but soon becomes uncomfortable, telling him to stop and uncuff her. After a heated argument in which he accuses her of not even trying to rekindle their relationship, Gerald dies of a heart attack, falling on top of Jesse and leaving her trapped in the handcuffs. A few hours pass. The dog enters through the open door of the house. Jesse tries to scare it away, but it bites a chunk out of Gerald's arm and eats it. Gerald stands up and begins talking. When Jesse notices his body remains on the floor, she realizes she is hallucinating. He taunts her about the truths of their strained marriage and his erectile dysfunction. He then informs her that she is beginning to suffer from dehydration and fatigue. Jesse also hallucinates a more self-assured version of herself, who explains things about her and Gerald that she never had the courage to acknowledge. The two hallucinations trigger her to remember the glass of water Gerald had left on the shelf above the bed, which she is able to reach. When she can't drink it, she rolls the shopping tag she'd torn from her slip into a drinking straw to reach the water. Jesse falls asleep, wakes up in the dark, and sees a deformed obscured figure who reveals a bag of bones and trinkets. She refuses to believe the figure is real, but Gerald says the figure is death waiting to take her. Gerald begins to call Jesse Mouse, which triggers a memory of her father Tom, who affectionately referred to her as Mouse. When she was 12, he had her sit on his lap while he masturbated to her during a solar eclipse. Tom gaslighted Jesse afterward to cover up the abuse. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation. Gerald and hallucination Jesse taunt that she never recovered from the assault, and that she married a man just like her father. Gerald calls the deformed man the man made of moonlight, and points out a bloody footprint on the floor, making Jesse realize the figure may have been real. Jesse remembers how her mother suspected her father but did nothing. She smashes the water glass, cuts her wrist, and peels back the skin, allowing her bloody hand to slip through the cuff. She is then able to reach the key and unlock her other hand. She bandages her wrist but passes out from blood loss and fatigue. When she awakes, the man made of moonlight is at the end of the hall. Delirious, she removes her wedding ring and gives it to him for his trinket bag before leaving. She makes it to her car and drives away but hallucinates the deformed figure again and crashes into a tree. People from a nearby house emerge to help. 6 months later, Jessie is writing a letter to her 12-year-old self. She describes how she had pretended to have amnesia over the ordeal of being trapped, avoiding painful questions. She used some of Gerald's life insurance to start a foundation for victims of sexual abuse. But each night the man made of moonlight still appears before her as she falls asleep. She learned from the news about a serial killer with acromegaly who digs up crypts, stealing bones and jewels, and has sex with men and gently nibbles their faces, explaining why he didn't harm Jesse in the house and why Gerald's face was disfigured. Jesse arrives at court as the Moonlight Man is being sentenced. He quotes what she said before leaving the house, indicating that he was in fact there at the time. Seeing Gerald and her father in him, she tells him, "You're so much smaller than I remember," and leaves triumphantly.